The Federal German Police (BKA) organized an action day against hate posts, Aktionstag gegen Hasspostings, in which they have raided homes, investigated supposed hate speech crimes, and questioned suspects. The raids began at 6 a.m. in the morning of the 6th of June, and it was conducted in 13 different states. That was Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, Berlin, Brandenburg, Bremen, Hesse, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, Niedersachsen, Lower Saxony, NRW, Rheinland-Pfalz, Rhineland-Palatinate, Schleswig-Holstein, Sachsen-Anhalt, and Thüringen. In total, they say 38 distinct measures were being completed. In Germany, we usually have a per state organization of the police. The federal office BKA is equivalent to the FBI, and it seems that the raids and the investigations and the questions were carried out by the individual state polices of these mentioned states. The offenses are named as insults of people in office, so that means probably some representatives of the government, people, most likely ministers or something, that people were angry about Horst Seehofer or Heiko Maas, or maybe Angela Merkel, Chancellor. People of office, Amtsperson, can just means any representative of the government. It's also possible, I mean, the word doesn't really give it away, that they mean police officers could be insulted. But I do not believe that. I think that the insults are just harsh language that critics of the government have used. Okay, I should not be taken away by this, but I will mention just quickly that it's peculiar that conservatives are just expected to play nice and tied up all the time, while when the left becomes aggressive, it is just humor or fun or whatever. Then it's provocation and it's revolutionary and edgy, and the left can be all these things and it's perfectly fine. And once you criticize a minister or a person of office who is a member of the left-wing parties or who is an ideologue, then suddenly you are no longer allowed to be edgy, funny, and whatever you say is then a severe insult. I mean, of course, there are severe insults, but then you can roll with that. No insult justifies that people's homes are raided over it. Home raids are there to detect bombs, to secure evidence like poison, some traces that lead up to the crime scene or whatever. If you have robbed a bank, or if you haven't really conducted a real crime, but if your offense is speech, there is nothing in your home, in your apartment, that can help bring light to the case. So these measures are pure intimidation, and I want to emphasize this. They have no place. They have no place in a democracy. They should not be tolerated in the Western Hemisphere. And quite frankly, I think that Germany should be punished for these things. Our economy is in a down spiral anyway. Some punitive measures, be it sanctions or whatever, are okay. Italy does sooner out of a dereliction, a down spiral, economic collapse, than doing nothing. So, Trump, if you're listening, maybe you should do something really and really fast. Some tariffs would be good, sometimes. This had been now the fourth action day against hate postings. It had been one every single year in June. So those who comment on the internet can expect to be targeted on an annual basis. So the intimidation ultimately will have its effect. It is going on since 4 years, so that's 2015. What was 2015? That suddenly people feel like insulting others. And I do not even think that we are actually speaking about insults in these cases. Of course, I'm not shown these hate posts because all these victims are triggered and pussies and cannot be bothered with transparency. So to avoid hurting their feelings even further, we are completely left in the dark what these police investigations and state actions are about. And we cannot judge it, and those individuals, to have no public trial, no public process or anything, they are just punished. Even if there is no court and conviction so far, the sheer raids and questions and police appearance themselves are already a punishment. They are there to destroy the reputation of an individual. They are there to destroy their businesses, their financial well-being, their social life, their job prospects, etc., etc. The police says that to bring down the number of hate posts on the internet, they ask for preventative projects of the federal state, and this is quite a peculiar thing because the police is actually supposed to go after crimes, and we have a lot of it. We have burglaries that are not investigated. If your home is actually being raided, that's obviously seen as trivial anyway. It seems our privacy is nothing anymore. But if your home is burgled, or if you're a victim of violence, if you are harassed in a serious manner, not just with insults, but spit on or something, if your wallets are stolen, if you have some real crimes for the police to investigate, they will most certainly do nothing because they are so busy with protecting the government against democracy. In addition to preventative measures, they also ask other actors, non-state actors or NGOs, to step up their activities. That's also very peculiar. Are now NGOs or are they not? We look into their finances, reveals that a lot of them are actually paid by governments, and the German government is a big donor of these NGOs. So they are not NGOs, they are actually GOs. So if the state asks them to do something against hate, it just means that they want to obscure their tracks. It is needless to say that, of course, I do not appreciate racism at all. I do not appreciate anti-Semitism, but that's also true for, there is irrational hatred against all sort of groups. Sometimes also Muslims become victims of irrational aggression and so on, and I do not like this at all. The distinction really is what is verbal and what is not, what reveals information that should remain private, and what is just shit talk that absolutely does not hurt anybody, that you can just roll with. I think the distinction really is, does it affect your life or does it not? Can you just simply ignore it? It isn't about preventing racism or anti-Semitism or whatever. I'm for all of these things. it is really about power abuse and the intimidation of any potential opposition. And you notice very often, and this is another case, that the German government is keen to protect the elites as if they were kind of a minority group itself that needs protection. An insult of people of office is, is insane. If anything, people who hold public office need the thickest skin. They must be able to decide what actually hurts them personally and what is just shit talk, what's just an insult that you could ignore. If they are not able to do this, they should just do something else. They should sit on the supermarket checker or whatever they want to do. But if you run for office, you must sort of roll with criticism at least, and sometimes even harsh criticism. There is no way that you can intimidate the wider public by raiding homes and dragging people to the police station for investigations, just because you do not want to hear what other people have to say. That was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.